So bring the meeting to order very, very firmly. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So there is no public comment. No one signed up for public comment today. And at this time, we go through a process of dissolving the current Board of Trustees. And I don't need any sort of motion for that. I just turn the meeting over to our superintendent to carry forward with new business.
Oh my gosh.
All right, here.
Dangerous.
All right, this is gonna be a short stint. So what we're doing is election of a new chairman or chairperson, and I am calling for nominations for board chair.
And I'd like to make a nomination of Carrie Kelly for board chairman.
I second that.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, no further nominations. So I will take a roll call vote and just say A or no. The first nominee with the majority vote is elected. So we'll start with Gary.
A.
Lonnie?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm like, what is A?
That's the pirate.
Sorry.
That is the pirate.
Okay. Sorry.
Lonnie?
R.
Sorry.
Yes.
Early.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Dang it, that's the only thing I have. Okay, so Carrie Kelly is elected board chair.
Okay.
Before handing the meeting back over to the board chair, I have a few more items of business. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that was very quick. It's handed over to you.
Okay. Okay, I guess the next order of business is to elect a vice chairman.
I nominate,
Chairwoman.
I nominate Trustee Lewis for vice chair.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second for that nomination?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded that Geraldine Lewis for vice chairman. Any other nominations? We'll take a roll call vote. Trustee Super?
Aye.
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 Okay, that votes on a unanimous vote. Next, we have appointment of the treasurer, Lisa House's appointment by the board here. Do I have a nomination? Does she need to be nominated?
Just a motion.
Just a motion.
I make a motion that we approve Lisa Halls as treasurer of our board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Lisa Halls be installed as our treasurer. Any discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's passed on a unanimous vote. Next, we have appointment of our clerk, Kelly Fisher.
I'll make a motion we appoint Kelly Fisher as our board clerk.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded that Kelly Fisher be appointed as our clerk. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Again, that passes on a unanimous vote. We also have an appointment of Sean Woodward, Lisa Halls, Kelly Fisher as authorized agents for Lake Ponderay School District.
I make a motion that we appoint Sean Woodward, Lisa Halls, and Kelly Fisher as authorized agents for Lake Ponderay School District.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved to second, as stated in that motion, of appointment of Sean Woodward, Lisa Halls, and Kelly Fisher as authorized agents for the Lake Ponderay School District. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That again carries on a unanimous vote. Next, we have Code of Ethics for school board members. I believe you all have that in front of you. And before you leave tonight, we'd appreciate it if you sign it. Are there any questions on it or any discussion? Okay, that's for individual action. Next, we have the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as written. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Payment of, next we have the board location and time and place. Hope you've all had a chance to take a look at that.
Yeah.
Is there any discussion or anything anybody would like to bring up before we vote on it?
We already have those all reserved, so we know this, yeah. Nope.
Okay.
You want a motion?
I'll have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the board meeting locations and dates as posted here in our packet.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the notice of posting the locations of our board meetings. Any discussion on that? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Non-action items, we have.
No, we actually just approved the
Oh, just the
location
locations.
dates, so we
Okay.
didn't do the posting.
Okay, thank you. Notice of posting locations.
Make a motion that we have posting locations at the LPOSD Administrative Office, Sandpoint City Hall, Bonner County Courthouse, and Ponderay Event Center.
We'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we post the location of our meetings as stated in the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Now, non-action items, we have the first reading of policy 2700, graduation requirements. And we'll turn it over to Jeff.
Great, thanks for taking time in your summer meeting for this. At Lake Ponderay High School, we have had some hard times filling our PE instructor position. In the past, first couple years I was there, we always had either a part of somebody from another building that came, and we were able to make an employee in the district whole by having them spend some time at our school. Or we also had a counselor, Colleen Ross, who also had a PE endorsement. Colleen's since moved on to elementary PE full-time, and the district's done a great job of making sure that PE teachers are whole within their buildings for the most part, so that's disappeared also. So what we were left with was like a .3 position in PE only. It's just really hard to fill, especially since we don't have locker rooms or a real facility for PE. So traditional PE teachers kind of take a look at it and say, I don't know. And our PE program is kind of non-traditional anyway. We try to focus on getting kids outside and moving and making healthy choices that are going to last over their lives, and not on competitive sports as in a lot of places. So we have made some shifts to it to increase our applicant pool. One is that Sean agreed to add paraprofessional hours to that to make it a full-time benefited position. That person will be coming in primarily, the paraprofessional hours will pretty much be focused on assessment coordination and data crunching, which would be a big help to our school also. But I'd also like to change, as written here, to change our requirement for 2 credits of PE to 2 credits of fitness activity. And it seems like a minor change, but in the Bible, on which we all rely on to get state funding, there is a course called Fitness Activities, which can be taught by anybody with a valid secondary certificate. So they would not require them to have the PE health endorsement, which is a very big stumbling block for a lot of our very interested applicants. I've offered the job to 3 people who said, I'm in, I want to work with the population, I want to do this, and then they call you, which is one of the universities, to see what it's going to take to get their PE endorsement, and it's ending up costing them far more than we're going to pay them. Mm-hmm. And so it's been a problem. We've had some very great candidates who are ready to do it, but it's just financially unfeasible for them. So by doing this, we would do 2 things. One, it would broaden our applicant pool and who we can hire without having to put them through anybody who has any sort of secondary endorsement will be qualified to teach that class. But also it would allow us, as we had to, for half the year last year, have some of my teachers fill in that position on a quarter for a quarter or something like that, and pay them just for teaching on their prep essentially. Last year when we did it, we had to then contract with an online school, pay additional monies to get the PE credit transcripted because we did not have anybody certified to teach PE in our school. So this would free us up. I would point out that the PE requirement, which we fully support, is however a district level requirement, not a state requirement. But by the language I inserted here, continues our commitment to healthy and active lifestyles for our students while also ameliorating the operational stressor that we're experiencing quite frequently.
Yeah,
Thank you.
question.
Questions?
Do you want to take questions now, or?
I think we will.
Sure.
First of all, Sean, do you have comments first?
Yeah, totally support this recommendation. It has been really far harder than I could have ever imagined to try to staff this position, and so yeah, totally on board with this.
Okay. Yes, Shirley.
And Lonnie had a question too.
Lonnie, go ahead.
My only question when I was reading this was, and perhaps it's a silly question, I'm sure that's been thought of, but what is considered physical activity? And is there, I'm sure that there's a curriculum that's
Fitness activity?
fitness
Right.
activity.
No, there is not a curriculum. Generally, my understanding of the course, reading the course description, is usually for single subject, like an aerobics class, or
Okay.
a cycling class, or a hiking class, where, like this, a teacher is interested, has a level of expertise in some fitness activity, and they offer to teach it through a quarter or a semester.
Okay, so it's gonna be, so it's not necessarily, well, it would have to be, the person that ends up in that role
Mhm.
has to have somewhat of a broad base of different expertise.
Right.
In order to, because obviously, middle of winter,
Yeah.
you can be a heck of a cycler, but it's not gonna do much in the middle of winter.
Right, and we have
Cyclists.
as you've seen our gym, our winter activities. So for instance, last year when I was stuck without a PE teacher, one of my teachers is an avid orienteer. So he took on and taught a quarter class in orienteering. So that gets him outside. He's a math teacher by trade, so he taught him angles while he was doing it
Right.
and stuff like that. So
Okay.
it would be stuff like that. But this is a fallback position. My hope is still to hire a PE teacher with a PE endorsement and teach full PE. That is still my hope.
Uh-huh.
But in the event that we had one candidate who has a PhD in kinesthesiology, but was unable to pay them the considerable amount to get a PE endorsement.
Right.
So that person would have been able to teach a fairly standard PE course without having to go through the
Right.
financial hardship of getting an endorsement.
I see.
And so the changes to the policy 2700 are, it becomes an elective, not a core class, because of this descriptor you just gave.
Right, we will leave it in as, we reduce the core credits by 2, increase our elective credits by 2, and then add language saying that at LPO may be completed by fitness activity.
So one follow-up
Maybe-
question to
maybe-
that.
Sorry,
Wait a
go
minute,
ahead,
wait a
Joe.
minute. Go ahead,
Oh,
Joe.
just a quick follow-up. Are you going to require them, because electives are pretty flex, are you going to require them to have 2 credits of fitness activity?
Yes.
So it's not
one or
just
the
totally
other.
up to them?
No, one or
They
the-
have to get.
One or the
Okay.
other, yeah.
Okay.
So
their 2 credits of PE become a mandatory 2 credits of fitness activity, not just a free
right,
elective.
or
Okay.
or 2 credits of PE.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
either one, yeah.
Right.
But
So,
either
okay.
or, if
Yeah.
the PE goes away,
mhm.
the either or becomes, if you want your PE credit, you can do a sport at, the high school,
Mhm.
Oh,
right?
that's right.
You can, yeah.
So you can fulfill that need
Yeah.
by doing the sport,
Mhm.
or take
Fitness
fitness activity
Mhm.
at LPO.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And in my mind, I see it, unless I get really desperate like I did last year, it would be a pretty traditional, for our school at least, PE class, but it's about broadening the applicant pool.
Yeah.
So in reality, for students, it won't look or feel very
Yeah.
different at all.
I gotcha.
Yeah, but in terms of who I can hire for that position, I just looked before I came in here, I think I have 16 applicants in there right now, which is most I've had for any position in a long time.
Uh-huh.
I think only 3 of them actually have a PE
PE
endorsement.
endorsement, got it.
So,
You answered my question. You know.
Oh.
The physical activity is still required, whether it's
Yes.
described as PE or.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
That was my only question. I was like, is this gonna become non-mandatory? I
Right.
mean,
yeah. Well, we could massage the language, what I didn't want to do was have it in board policy as PE required, so
mhm.
otherwise that becomes a problem. So I added language may be fulfilled by 2 credits of fitness
Yeah,
activity, meaning
and you're
that
right,
so
that means
one or
they
the
have
other.
to, yeah.
Kind of a required elective.
Required
Yes.
elective, yep.
Mhm.
That's when I was looking at that, the devil's advocate in my head looking at that is going, okay, somebody's going to challenge us and say, well, you said it may be required, or may be fulfilled. It's not required.
It's by one of
to
any
be
4 of
fulfilled.
those methods.
The PE
Has to
the PE credits
Maybe.
maybe, but it's one or the other.
Still, you have to do it.
Gotta be
Yeah.
one or the other, yeah. Again, my hope is to find a PE teacher who is, this still leaves me with the issue of health, because most PE teachers are also health certified.
Oh,
So
right.
I'm gonna have to find a way to get the health requirement in, which is a state requirement. And so
Right.
that will still be a stressor, but there is an online option for health that we can
Right.
do. The online option for PE is absurd. So,
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions at all?
That's the one I had.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in, and we'll take this up for next meeting.
great, thank you.
Yeah, so there's really no other
We
content
have-
changes on that 2700.
Yeah, that's the only change.
That
on
was
the
in the
700.
May and the, yeah.
Announcements?
Yeah, so it's kind of a reminder. I mentioned the 21st Century Community Learning Center grants that we received. And just a quick update on that. We were guessing that we would have a lot of interest based on our surveys that we had done prior to actually submitting the grant. I think we have a lot more interest than has been the norm in other instances in our state, because people were surprised that we were shooting for such a high target number of students to attend at either Kootenai or Farm and Stidwell. The good news is it's a good and bad news. Both of our after-school programs, they're completely filled with pre-registrants. So there's 60 at each, and there's a waiting list, 60 students, which is
Wow.
incredible. So it's really, Andrew and I feel great about that, because writing the grant, we knew there was a big need for it. And so that validates that for sure. Andrew's been working really hard. I want to thank her, because I was in on the front end for helping her write the grant, but now the real work begins. So Andrew's working with a coordinator that we just hired, Elizabeth D'Alessio. She's a title teacher at Kootenai. She'll be fabulous, and Andrew's working with her and the principal at Kootenai and Farm and Stidwell, Kelly and Eric. So we're really excited about that. In 3 weeks, Andrew will be giving a presentation on just what is this thing, what are the grant parameters, what does the
Good.
budget look like,
Good.
et cetera.
To
So-
us.
Yes. to
Yeah,
all.
that'll be helpful.
And Mary, I'm sure will be here. It'll be a fantastic opportunity for us to get some good press on this as well, because it's a
Great.
great deal for our community. So it's.
So you anticipate implementing this program at 2 locations this
Yeah.
fall?
Yes, Kootenai and Farm and Stidwell.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
So she'll be ready to go. And if you have any questions that are coming to mind now that you want to email them to me, and we'll make sure that Andrew has those in her presentation as well. That'd be great if you have.
Good.
Um,
Any other announcements?
Yeah, I've got, as I told you guys, and I don't know if this is the right time or not, but one of my coworkers has a friend that did the Idaho Forest Group and NIC combo for CTE direction, I guess you'd call it. So he just graduated. I'd like to shine some light on that. I mean, it's a heck of a success. I mean, this kid,
This
he's
is
19 and
Yeah.
he worked full-time for Idaho Forest Group, went to NIC full-time for this 2-year program, graduated, and is now a fully certified millwright and has job offers up the kazoo.
Wow.
And I know we had three students apply for that got accepted. One no-showed, another one dropped out early. Dylan did the whole thing, buckled down and got it done. But I think it's an opportunity to maybe, highlight it and say, look, this is a program, this is a career. He literally has 0 debt coming out of this, and he's got a career now. So that's pretty cool, and
A success story to share about.
It's something that we could possibly look into having. I don't know if we could have him come in and.
Wonderful.
So does it require, you have to be a resident student in Coeur d'Alene to do this?
He lived here. He worked at Riley or at Idaho Forest Group out in Laclede.
Yeah, Riley Creek. Used to
Drove
be Riley
down
Creek
to
Lumber.
Post Falls. Did full boat of classes, and it's an associate program, but
Yeah,
it's
great.
Well, it might be worth saying we can't get some.
yeah, get a little publicity for it. The other question I had, ran into the woman that works for the teen center, and she was asking me some questions about, I'm sure everybody knows that the teen center's no longer going to be there. The question came up about the building that is right next to the middle school on the north side of the middle school. That I think at one point it was a health occupation.
The White House there. It's got the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that, I don't know if that's being used or not.
I could get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Is that our building?
Yeah, but at one time someone was gonna purchase it and move it, but I don't know where we're at with that right now, but
Okay.
I'll do a little digging and let you guys know by the end of the week what's up with
Yeah.
that space.
Okay.
I don't know if it's, I told her, I said, I have no idea how they operate and what, I know they're standalone nonprofit.
I can tell you it needs, that particular building, a lot of work. It's
Yeah,
a lot of
it's not-
renovation.
Not
Yeah, it's-
operable right now.
No, matter of fact, we didn't wanna put our homeschool academy.
Well, that's the thing that popped in my head when she asked about that building. I was thinking, well, I know that we're doing a lot of stuff on the other side for the homeschool academy, so I'm sure it was looked at.
But I'll check it out.
Well, this is something we can follow up.
Yeah.
So, Sean, I'm catching you off guard here, but could you update us on, other summer things like hiring? How are we doing in filling our classified positions for the fall?
Okay, well, we're in new announcements now. After the meeting's over, if you want to talk to Sean, you can do that.
Okay.
Any other announcements that we have? Okay, I would just like to thank Geraldine for being the chair for the past year. Thank you very much. I certainly like to applaud our authorized agents, 2 of which are here.
Yes.
Thanks for the superb job. And for the rest of you, thank you for voting me, and I plan to be in close contact with all of you. I now have my computer such that I get all the emails going to the school district, going to my home now. So I can take it under advisement a little bit sooner, but I'm sure I enjoy working with you. Really
Excellent.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anything else that we have before we adjourn? Okay, thank you.